The wind moves gently across the open fields. The sun rises behind the hills, and a lone horse gallops through the mist. There's silence, the kind that carries memories. For years, Heartland has been more than just a show. It's been a story of family, of loss, and of learning to live again. But this season, something feels different. There's a quiet strength in the air, as if the land itself knows change is coming. It's been a long wait, and fans around the world have been holding their breath for the return of Heartland Season 19. The first episode opens not with loud drama, but with peace. A peace that hides the weight of everything that came before. The ranch looks familiar, yet time has touched it. The fences are a little worn. The horses move slower in the morning cold. And Amy's eyes, though calm, still hold stories untold. There's something deeply comforting about Heartland's world. It's not just about horses or open fields. It's about healing. The kind that takes time, silence, and love. As the episode begins, the camera moves slowly across the fields, showing how life has gone on. The land hasn't changed, but the people have. Every sunrise feels like a new beginning. And this season, that feeling runs stronger than ever. In Season 19, Episode 1, the story quietly reminds us that Heartland is more than a place. It's a promise that no matter how many storms come, there's always light waiting to break through the clouds. Amy, who once carried her grief like a shadow, now stands taller. She's found peace, but not without scars. Each time she walks into the barn, there's a hint of memory. Ty's laughter, the sound of hooves, the echo of what once was. Yet she doesn't stop. She works, she rides, she heals. Just like the land around her. This opening sequence is a love letter to the fans. It doesn't rush, it doesn't shock, it breathes. The tone is softer, more reflective. The music blends with the sound of nature, creating a feeling that's both familiar and new. It's a gentle reminder that life, even after heartbreak, keeps moving. And maybe that's the real magic of Heartland. The way it shows us that even the quiet moments can hold meaning. As the first few minutes unfold, we see glimpses of everyone. Jack tending to the horses, Lou busy with her duties, and Tim standing at the fence, lost in thought. There's no big speech, no grand moment. Just people trying to live, trying to find their way, and trying to hold on to what matters. It's simple, but it hits deep, because Heartland has always been about one truth. Family isn't perfect, but it's forever. And as the camera pans out, showing the wide Canadian sky above Heartland, a voice seems to whisper through the wind. This is not just another season. It's a new chapter, a fresh chance to rebuild, to forgive, and to dream again. Before the sun rose over Heartland this season, the world here had already weathered many storms. Season 18 left behind a trail of emotions that still linger in the air like the smell of rain on dry soil. Each character walked through their own kind of storm, some born of love, others born of loss. And yet every one of them found a way to keep moving forward. That's what Heartland does best. It shows how life breaks you, and then gently teaches you how to stand again. Amy's story, as always, stood at the heart of it all. She faced the ache of Ty's absence not with words, but with strength. The silence between her and the horses spoke more than any conversation ever could. Each rescue, each ride, became a way of reaching out, not just to the animals, but to herself. She was learning to breathe again, to find calm in the rhythm of hoofbeats. In Season 18, Amy discovered that healing isn't about forgetting. It's about finding peace in remembering. Jack, the soul of the ranch, carried his wisdom like a lantern in the dark. The old cowboy has seen everything: love, loss, laughter, and time's unkind march. Yet he never lets go of hope. In every scene, there's a quiet power in the way he looks at the land. It's like he knows that every blade of grass has a story. Every fence post holds a memory. Season 18 reminded us that Jack isn't just the family's elder. He's the living heart of Heartland itself. Lou, meanwhile, balanced more than most could. Being both a mother and a leader meant carrying the weight of every decision. Her world was constantly shifting. Politics, family, business. And still, she found a way to smile through it all. There were cracks, yes, but that's where the light found her. Season 18 wasn't about perfection for Lou. It was about perseverance. And then there was Tim, the man who never stops fighting his past. He's made mistakes, the kind that don't fade easily. But in every episode you could see him trying to do better, trying to mend what was broken. His journey is messy, human, and painfully real. Heartland has always shown us that redemption isn't a one-time act. It's a choice you make every day. Season 18 ended not with fireworks, but with a feeling, a breath before change. The family stood together closer than ever, but the wind hinted that something new was coming. The ranch was peaceful, yet it felt like the calm before a storm. It wasn't fear that filled the air, but anticipation. The quiet kind that comes when you know the story isn't done yet. And now, as season 19 begins, that energy rises again. The land feels alive. The characters carry more than memories. They carry lessons, scars, and the promise of new beginnings. The story of Heartland has never been about the past. It's about what happens when you find the courage to ride into tomorrow. The first few seconds of Heartland Season 19, Episode 1, feel almost sacred, like the land itself is taking a slow, deep breath after a long winter. The screen opens to a pale morning sky. Fog clings to the ground, and the golden light of dawn crawls gently across the valley. You can hear the soft creak of the barn door, the steady rhythm of hooves, and the sound of birds waking the day. There are no words, just the language of the ranch, simple and timeless. Amy steps into view, quiet but strong. She's not the same girl we met years ago. There's something deeper in her eyes now. Not sadness, but acceptance. As she leads a young horse out of the stable, the way she moves tells the story better than any script could. Calm, patient, steady. Every gesture reminds us that healing doesn't shout. It whispers. Her bond with the horses isn't just work anymore. It's connection, the kind that keeps a soul alive when everything else has changed. The camera shifts to the open fields, where the morning light glides across Heartland like a memory. The ranch feels older, wiser. It has seen joy, tears, and endless seasons, but still stands proud. You can feel the weight of history in every frame, every fence, every tool, every hoof print in the dirt. The beauty of Heartland has always been in its quiet moments, and this episode begins exactly there, in silence that feels full, not empty. Then we catch a glimpse of Jack, his hat tipped low, standing beside Spartan. There's a stillness about him that only years of living can create. His face carries the calm of a man who's seen life's worst storms and still believes in tomorrow. When he looks toward Amy, there's pride in his eyes. Not because she's perfect, but because she's still here, still trying. That's what Heartland is all about. Lou appears next, her phone buzzing, her mind already racing ahead. The balance between her public life and private world still pulls at her. But this time, there's something different. Maybe it's a hint of weariness. Maybe it's the realization that even success can feel lonely when the people you love are miles away emotionally. Her storyline, like Amy's, is changing, maturing, deepening. And just as we start to settle into this peaceful rhythm, a new sound breaks through. The distressed cry of a horse in the distance. Amy freezes. The calm shatters like thin glass. Without hesitation, she runs toward the noise, and the camera follows her through the rising dust. The tension builds not through action, but through uncertainty. Something's wrong. And just like that, Heartland reminds us, life here can shift from quiet to chaos in a heartbeat. This is the moment the episode truly begins. The balance between serenity and struggle, between what's lost and what's found. The audience doesn't need an explanation. They can feel it. The season's message is already clear. Peace is never permanent, but neither is pain. Both are part of the ride. Every season of Heartland has carried its own heartbeat, sometimes fast with joy, sometimes slow with grief. But Season 19, Episode 1 feels different. It's not about the noise of drama. It's about the quiet that comes after it. This episode speaks softly, but every word, every glance, every breath carries meaning. The emotion isn't shouted. It's shown through gestures, through the stillness between two characters, through the way the wind moves the curtains in the barn. At its core, this episode is about healing, not the sudden kind that fixes everything overnight, but the kind that grows quietly, like wildflowers in an abandoned field. Amy's journey reflects this perfectly. Her heart, once broken, now carries strength that doesn't need to prove itself. When she looks at a horse that refuses to trust, you can see it. She understands that pain doesn't vanish. It just learns how to breathe differently. The bond she builds with that horse becomes a mirror of her own growth. Both wounded, both willing to try again. Jack's presence brings warmth, the kind that feels like home. He's more than the family's elder. He's the keeper of their roots. There's a scene where he sits by the corral, watching the horses move against the evening sky. He doesn't say a word, but his silence feels full of stories. You sense that he's thinking of all the years gone by, of loss, laughter, and the endless cycle of seasons that shaped them all. His stillness is strength, the kind the younger generation still leans on. Lou's story in this episode hits a different chord, the tug between ambition and belonging. Her life outside Heartland keeps expanding, but every time she leaves, a part of her stays behind. The show doesn't frame it as failure. It frames it as reality. Because even the strongest hearts can't be everywhere at once. Lou's scenes remind us that success means nothing if you lose the people you're working so hard for. Tim's arc adds a sharper edge. He's still haunted by choices he can't undo, still chasing peace in places it won't be found. But this time, there's a sense that he's learning, that maybe forgiveness isn't about being told you're forgiven, but about forgiving yourself. His journey this season feels like a man learning how to stop fighting ghosts. And through all these stories, there's the land, the silent character that ties them all together. The fields, the fences, the long roads at sunset. They've seen everything. They hold every laugh, every heartbreak, every promise made and broken. The cinematography treats the landscape not just as a backdrop, but as memory itself. When the sun dips behind the hills, you can almost feel the weight of everything these characters have lived through. What makes Heartland so powerful is that it never forces emotion. It lets it bloom naturally. A smile at breakfast means more than a speech. A glance across the table carries more truth than a confession. This episode especially understands that love doesn't always need words. Sometimes it just needs time. And as the final moments of Episode 1's first act fade into evening light, one truth shines through. Healing isn't about forgetting the past. It's about learning how to live with it. That's the lesson Heartland keeps teaching, season after season, one sunrise at a time. What makes Heartland so powerful isn't just its story. It's the way it's told. Season 19, Episode 1 feels like a film made with memory, not just cameras. Every frame carries purpose, every sound feels alive, and every silence means something. The team behind the show doesn't just shoot scenes. They capture emotions the way a painter catches light, softly, patiently, with heart. The episode's opening sequence is a perfect example of this craft. The lighting team used natural dawn light, the real sunrise over the Alberta foothills, not artificial brightness. The warmth of that golden hour makes the moment feel real, as if the land itself was part of the cast. The director didn't rush it. Instead, they let the camera linger. That's the beauty of Heartland. It trusts its audience to feel, not just watch. Even the sound design plays a hidden role. The gentle rustle of leaves, the rhythm of hooves against the ground, the faraway call of birds. These aren't background noise. They're emotional anchors. They remind the viewer that Heartland isn't a fantasy world. It's a reflection of something pure, something simple, a way of life that still exists somewhere between sky and soil. Behind the camera, the actors breathe life into every scene with subtlety, not showmanship. Amber Marshall, who plays Amy, brings quiet authenticity to her performance. She doesn't act like someone who's healed. She acts like someone who's still learning too. That's what makes it believable. You can see her strength in her stillness, in the way she listens to a horse before moving, or how her hands stay calm even when her eyes reveal pain. It's not performance, it's presence. Sean Johnston, who plays Jack, often improvises his small moments, a touch on a horse's neck, a long pause before a line, to make it feel lived in. Those unscripted touches are what make the show breathe. They turn the ranch from a set into a memory, something that feels like home even to viewers who've never seen a prairie in their life. The writing team, too, deserves quiet credit. They know that Heartland's strength doesn't come from big twists or cliffhangers. It comes from real emotion, from showing that ordinary lives can be extraordinary when love and perseverance hold them together. In Season 19, Episode 1, every piece of dialogue feels chosen with care. Nothing is wasted. A single sentence can hold years of meaning. Even the wardrobe and color palette tell a story. The earthy tones, the browns, creams, soft blues, reflect not just the land, but the emotional temperature of the episode. There's no flash, no gloss, just honesty. Heartland isn't pretending to be something grand. It's showing us the beauty in being real. And then there's the music. The gentle guitar strings, the hum of the piano, the spaces between notes. They feel like the heartbeat of the show itself. The score doesn't try to control the emotion. It lets it flow naturally. When Amy looks out across the field, the music doesn't tell us how to feel. It lets us decide. That's what makes Heartland's storytelling so timeless. Behind every scene, there's one guiding principle. Show life as it is. Messy, quiet, beautiful, and true. That's why, even after 19 seasons, Heartland hasn't lost its soul. It's made with heart, the kind that doesn't fade with time. There's something about Heartland that doesn't just stay on the screen. It stays with you. Long after the credits roll, its spirit lingers, like the smell of rain after a summer storm. For years, fans have grown with this story, watched children become adults, watched the ranch change, watched hearts break and mend again. And through it all, they never stopped caring. Maybe that's why watching Season 19 feels like coming home after being away too long. This show isn't just a series, it's a shared memory. Every episode reminds people of something real. The bond between family, the beauty of second chances, the ache of loss, and the quiet joy of healing. When Amy touches a horse's mane, some viewers remember their first love for animals. When Jack gives advice, it reminds others of a grandparent they once leaned on. Heartland's world feels familiar because it mirrors the one we live in, full of hard days, small miracles, and hope that refuses to die. So now, as Episode 1 of Season 19 unfolds, the story becomes more than fiction. It becomes connection. And maybe that's the secret. Heartland isn't about watching characters on a screen. It's about seeing pieces of yourself in them. It's the comfort of knowing you're not alone in your struggles, that someone somewhere, even a character, understands the quiet battles you never talk about. If you've ever found peace in watching Amy ride across the open fields, or if Jack's words once made you think of home, this story is yours too. The beauty of Heartland lies in how it welcomes everyone. No matter where you're from, no matter what you've lost, there's a piece of its light waiting for you. Now, it's your turn. Tell me, what moment from Heartland still lives in your heart? Was it Ty and Amy's first ride together? Jack's timeless advice? Or that silent moment when Amy stood under the stars, holding back tears but still standing tall? Each of those moments has touched someone, somewhere, and now it's your story to tell. Drop your thoughts in the comments, not as viewers, but as part of the Heartland family. Share your favorite memory, the line that stayed with you, or the lesson that changed how you see life. Because Heartland isn't made by cameras or scripts alone, it's built by the people who keep believing in it, season after season. And as you do, remember this: every like, every share, every voice that joins the conversation keeps the spirit of Heartland alive. So if this story touched your heart, let it show. Hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs a little hope, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because Heartland isn't just a show you watch, it's a feeling you carry. A reminder that no matter how far you drift, there's always a place where love, forgiveness, and family wait for you. Right here, where the prairie meets the sky. The sun begins to fall over Heartland, spilling gold and fire across the open sky. The ranch glows in that quiet light, the kind that makes everything look softer, older, and more alive. You can hear the faint sound of a horse in the distance, the low hum of evening wind brushing through the fields. The camera lingers, holding still, as if even the world doesn't want this moment to end. Amy stands near the fence, watching the horizon. There's peace on her face, not the kind that comes from forgetting, but from finally understanding. Every scar, every loss, every moment of love has shaped her into who she is now. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. Her silence says everything. That strength isn't loud, and healing isn't fast. It's quiet, patient, and painfully beautiful. Jack walks up beside her, his steps slow, steady. The kind of man who doesn't rush through life because he's learned that every second matters. He looks out at the same horizon and simply nods. No words, no advice, just presence. That's all Amy needs. That's all any of them ever needed. The camera drifts back slowly, revealing the whole ranch bathed in golden light. Lou's laughter echoes faintly from the porch. Tim's silhouette moves in the barn doorway. Everything feels still, but alive. It's a perfect balance between past and future, between heartbreak and hope. Heartland has always lived in that space, the in-between, where people keep going even when they don't know how. The narrator's voice breaks the silence softly, like a memory returning. At Heartland, every ending is just another beginning. The land keeps breathing, the horses keep running, and love, it never really leaves. The screen fades to the colors of dusk, a sky painted in amber and rose. The final shot holds on the ranch for a moment longer as the wind picks up, carrying the sound of hoofbeats into the distance. Then, the screen fades to black. The title appears, Heartland, Season 19, Episode 1. The story continues. The music rises, soft guitar strings, gentle piano, a sound that feels like home. The credits roll, but the feeling stays. That warmth in your chest, that quiet ache behind your heart. You realize something. Heartland isn't about perfect endings. It's about the courage to keep trying, to keep loving, to keep showing up, even when it hurts. And as the final note fades, one last whisper echoes in the wind. This isn't goodbye. It's just the next ride.